Hey guys, how's it going? Saturday 1st of Feb. It's been a lovely sunny day, but oh wow, it's been really cold winds. We're up north, we might better get a bit of sunshine, but it'll be freezing cold this time of year. I'm going to show you the mock-up that I've done for the aerobic hotbin. Well, it's not really a mock-up, I've built it. And I'm going to try it. I know I said I was going to flag. I'm not going to do that. I'll explain why in a minute. Anyway, let's just show you what I've done with this hotbin. Pretty convinced it's going to work. Then I'll take you into the tunnel. I'll show you the seedlings I've just put in now for a new direction on the allotment for getting this soil really healthy and keeping these plants really healthy. And the reason for these new bins is I don't need as much compost. I'm not going to, because the plants are going to sort of do that work for me. Let's have a look at this first. Basically, this is it. Now you've got these air pipes, these stands. The air will come in under this front of this pallet, and then the air can travel up these pipes, and I've drilled holes in the pipes obviously to allow air into the heap as the heap fills and rises. I'm going to fill the heap to about here, and then I'm literally going to leave it. Now hopefully I'll have enough material to fill the heap in one go. If I don't have that, what I intend to do is put some kind of plastic bags on top of here, so that the air isn't coming up and releasing out of these. It's only releasing into the compost. So through these into the compost fill. If it's filled to there, I will then cover that and that with some kind of plastic bag or something, just so the air percolates more into the heap. Now in order for this to circulate, the air is coming in there, it's going to exit these holes into the heap, the air will be rising through the heap. There'll probably be a couple of 3-inch pipes here in the front of the bin to allow the air to come out, so we're getting air circulation right the way through the bin. This is my theory anyway. I've just got another pallet for the bin. Yeah, so I've got my new pallet front. Now the air, this will have the insulation on the inside of it here, and the air is going to go through these vents, just through these gaps. The insulation will be, say there, somewhere there inside. So I'll have all these little slats here at the bottom where the air can get in. I'm going to put wire netting on the inside of here so that the rats and mice can't get through these holes as well. I know I said I was going to flag all of this. I've just decided against doing it at the moment because this ground is not drying. We just keep getting, days and days of rain, and I'm just not going to try flagging when the ground is absolutely saturated. I just need the ground to dry out. What I've done, I found some old kingspan there, so I've just put that on top of the wire netting here, and then I've made this pallet bed up, and then I've screwed the pipes down. So what I'm going to do when the heap is finished, when the composting process is finished, I'm just going to pull these pipes out just like that, so I can actually empty the bin, because it would be virtual nightmare trying to empty this bin with all these pipes in place. Obviously I couldn't screw the pipes directly to the pallet because they would be covered in compost and you couldn't get them out. So I just thought this was a bit of a workaround. I've just taken a piece of this pipe, split it, and just screwed a couple of brackets on, which I made from some of that metal stripping stuff you can buy, and then we just squeeze that back into there like that. I'll take you a top down look. You can see I've positioned the pipes as best as I can to get full aeration into the bin. I'm not sure on the placement of these pipes yet, but this is just purely experimental. It may have been better with 3 pipes on that side and 3 on this side. That looks okay to me, I don't know. But we're going to suck it and see. We're just going to build it, try it out, and see how it works. So the base has got this netting on top of these boards. and then I've put some of this plastic netting over that netting just to decrease the, you know, the gap in to stop stuff falling through. My plan will be to sort of put some of this sort of dry, oh guys, come here. Yeah, my plan will be to sort of put this dry material on top, or maybe even that dry material and some, you know, about 2 inches of wood chip on here, so that the air can sort of get in. The good thing about this heap, this bin, is if when the compost at the bottom starts to get saturated and wet, it will drain through this netting, so that the heap will be drier at the bottom. We won't be getting that wetness that you can, you know, you associate with hot bins. The water just sinks over time, and the bottom is always wetter than the top. So we're going to give this a go. I mean, it's not cost me anything to do this. These pipes were given to me by someone on the allotment. It's some old ducting that someone brought for whatever reason. They never used it. So yeah, all I had to do was cut it to length and drill the holes in. These little brackets are one of those metal strips you can buy with the perforations in them, and I just cut them off, bent them and screwed them down. The netting I already had, that's just an old pallet for the base, and it's just essentially the hot bin as it was, this, but with this modification. Now, to get the air to flow through the bin, I'm obviously not going to have that lid rising up and down with the heap. So I'm going to put the insulation on top, just like that, just lay the insulation on top of the bin, and then the front of the bin will have a couple of holes there to allow the air through. I'll also put some netting. I'll just fill them pipes with netting to stop any rodents climbing up and crawling through into it. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that this is going to make a good bin. I'm also pretty confident that, you know, if there's a lot of green in the bin to promote more heat, then this oxygen getting into the green is going to stop it slumping to a degree and going anaerobic. That's not my aim. My aim is to get a more fungally enriched compost from this, because I'm not turning it, I'm not breaking up all the fungal hyphae. The fungus will come after the initial thermophilic stage of the compost, when the heat is dissipating and the heap goes into that sort of mesophilic state where it's neither hot nor cold, it's right in the centre. That state is also when the worms move in, so it can just be left, and we can just let the worms do the work, let the fungus spread through, let the bacteria finish breaking it down until the heap virtually goes cold. Then we can just pull them pipes out, empty the bin and use it. So this is more of a long-term bin now. Once it's filled, I will just leave it. I will literally just leave it as it is. It won't be turned, it won't be touched, and we'll see what sort of compost it will make. So I really don't mind if it takes 6 to 12 months to finish this compost in this bin. As I've previously said, I don't need any more compost on the ground now. My focus is going to be on having living roots of a mixed, diverse type all over the soil. So, you know, I'm not going to do mono cover crops anymore. I'm going to mix the species up now, and preferably have living roots in the soil all the time, right through winter, rather than just piling tons and tons of compost on. Oh, it's night and day in here, guys. You see the little thermometer there? It's reading, well, that's the ground temperature, 8.1 centigrade. The air temperature is 11.3 degrees centigrade, and it just feels like a summer's day in here compared to outside. But anyway, here we have my onions. We've got mostly Red Baron, Elsa Craig, some shallots. That's what I've got in. There's about 200 to 300 onions here. Elsa Craig, Red Barons, and the shallots. The Elsa Craig and the Red Barons are the only ones I'm really growing this year. Although I have got some tough ball onions, I may just put a packet of them out as well. Try and get about 300 onions. If I do grow the onions in one bed this year, then I'll be giving them more gaps and interplanting them with other things, sort of like beetroots, maybe turnips, maybe peas, all sorts of things, maybe some herbs growing in amongst them. This is going to be kind of the new direction. If you little trays of brassicas here, just different types of brassicas, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflowers there just coming. And here on the bench today I've been putting more broad beans in, field beans. I've just sowed a couple of trays of peas as well for going outside, just all purely outside stuff. My first early swift potatoes are just coming through, so these were planted in these buckets on the 21st of December here in the polytunnel. And I didn't bother sort of chitting them or growing or pre-growing them at home this year. I did last year, I put them in the conservatory, but I've just left them in here. You can see here we've got all the little shoots coming out now on these. There's 4 potatoes in each bucket. So these here will be the ones at the top, and then there's 2 more further down. 5 buckets. So yeah, they're doing quite well. I'll protect these obviously if we get a frost. Successfully did it last year without any heat in here whatsoever. We got some nasty frost down to -6 or 7, and these potatoes were fine. I've just repotted my strawberries here. Well, re-gutted my strawberries. They were in a shallower gutter last year. I've put them into these deeper gutters and put some more compost underneath them. Well, some of my compost, homemade compost. So they're spaced, 2 foot apart. The roots are actually continuous right the way underneath this gutter. So I simply took them out of the shallower gutter, filled it with compost, and just plonked them back on top. Some nice strawberries off these last year. In about April, I'd say we were getting some really nice, beautifully sweet strawberries off these. I've got a couple more there, gutters ready. But the deeper ones this year, I'm putting strawberries in. The shallower ones, I'm putting the early peas in this year. So I've just got 2 more of these gutters to fill with strawberries yet. I've just repotted most of these strawberries here as well. These'll come early. These'll be probably ready in April as well. I did have strawberries in the ground here along the back of the tunnel. They didn't do that well, to be honest with you, last year. We had a few off them, but no, they didn't do well. I don't think they had enough light against that backside with all the, the tomato canopy covering them. So I've moved them into these buckets. They should do better this year, a lot better. I've got a lot of strawberries outside, which do really well in the fruit cage. The trouble is the slugs just massacre them, just as they come ready, the slugs massacre them. So I'm moving a lot of them this year. I'm going to have to try and make some kind of slug-proof bed out there. So this is all I've bothered with in January. The onions, some brassicas, beans, and some peas, which I've just sowed today. I have started some chilies, some hot chilies at home, 5 plants. I'm going to start the sweet peppers today, or the bell peppers. So I'll be putting them into trays probably tonight, tomorrow. It's still so cold, guys, up here. I suppose it depends where you are in the country. Obviously, if you're further down south to me, I know Mike So Grow Eat, he's down in Devon. His temperature is just, it's much better than it is up here in the north. So he's probably 2 to 3 weeks, good 2 to 3 weeks ahead of us in, the temperatures changing and getting warmer down there, where we lag behind up here. And where we are in the northwest, right on the coast, we've got these winds coming across the sea all the time, the Irish Sea, the wind, the rain. It's going to be sort of April when I can confidently start putting things outside. But even then, there's a chance of frost well into May. I'm in no rush, is what I'm saying, to get anything out. I'm certainly not going to win by planting loads and loads of stuff at home now in the conservatory and getting it on the table and putting lights on it and keeping it warm and watering it. And the table just gets more full and full, and the windowsills are full, and I'm having to bring it here and nurse it through the cold. It's just not worth it. It really isn't, because things catch up so quick when the light is right. You just want plants to start growing and keep growing. That's what I've always found anyway. I mean, it's fun. If you want to do it for hobby, yeah, do it. Get your tomatoes in now. I know some people have done. A friend of mine, he put a picture on Facebook, I think it was, where he had some tomato seedlings in about the 15th of December. I thought, well, good luck nursing them through till May. But anyway, I'm just going to show you a little heater I've built. to protect these seedlings a bit, and maybe just keep a bit of frost out this tunnel. I know it looks a bit strange, and it's like something from some kind of weird past civilization, but it's literally just all the terracotta plant pots that I had on the allotment, with this big terracotta plant pot here. What it is it's a homemade candle. There are I haven't invented or designed this. This was a video I saw on YouTube where someone had made this. So it's just literally a glass jar, 2 tubes, one inside the other, so a copper tube in the centre. This should be a copper tube, but I only had aluminium. You drill holes in both the tubes. You wrap the wick, which is a carbon felt wick. You wrap it round, you get it through to the inside, and there's your candle basically. And this glass, and what I'm burning it on at the moment is alcohol. I think it's rubbing alcohol, I'm not actually sure. Whatever the alcohols you can buy, that's the cheapest stuff anyway. The higher up you put the wick out of there, the bigger your flame you will get. Initially I had maybe ½ an inch of wick poking out of there, and the flame was up here, so we had a massive 12-inch flame, but that's just going to burn your fuel away so much quicker. So the wick at the moment is just level with the top, and as I say, that should give me 15 to 20 hours of burn on that wick. These carbon wicks are great, by the way, because they don't deteriorate, they don't burn, they just keep wicking the fluid up and burning. And I've just made that little cover which I put on top when I'm not burning it to stop the alcohol evaporating. Now I'm going to burn paraffin on this, because paraffin again is cheaper than alcohol, so I'm actually going to be burning paraffin on it. The reason why these are black and sooty, they're actually still drying out. These were wet through the other day, so I've just put them on. There's a little hole in that one, and then I stack all these pots on top, and they capture the heat. They are really warm then, but as I say, everything is so wet, they're not getting as warm as they should be. And that heat radiating off that, it will stop this bench on top from freezing. And next week the temperatures are dropping, not significant, you know, -1, 0, you know, so I'm going to leave this on overnight. It's no, you know, there's no need to have it on in the daytime. Just overnight for the 10 or 12 hours overnight when it's colder, and it will just take the edge off everything in the tunnel. Things like these onions and these little brassica seedlings, etc., they'll be absolutely fine with some fleece put on top of them. They won't be a problem. And likewise, I'll do the same with these potatoes. I'll just put a bit of fleece draped over the top, some cardboard or something. I actually like having these containers in here full of soil, because as the temperatures build in the day, it was up to about 23 degrees in here today in the polytunnel. It's warming these buckets up, and these buckets then release the heat at night slowly. So again, it helps keep the tunnel warmer at night. There's another tray of asparagus peas I've sowed here today. Again, they're just going outside as a cover crop. I'm going to start planting things like this outside before my main crops start going in, just to get some living roots in the ground. That's all I'm doing it for. And the frost may kill these. It doesn't bother me at all if the frost kills them or gets to them. At least they've had a chance to get some root in. And of course, you know, it's going to be a couple of weeks before these come up in here. We'll be getting on towards March then. The ground temperature should be getting up to about 10 degrees. So I can get these in probably near the beginning of March. I can get these in outside. Then I can fleece them over at night, and they can take the chance to say I'm not too bothered. So just got to wait for these beans to come up. I'll show you some I've already put in outside. So I've got this bed of broad beans in here, not grown as a crop, grown as a cover crop, and this is a potato bed. So these are the positions where the potatoes are growing. So one there, one there, one there, one there. So that's where the spuds will go. So the spuds will come up, by maybe the end of April, towards the beginning of May, the potatoes will be here. The broad beans should be about here. So there's not much else you can plant with potatoes, because the potatoes eventually just absolutely crush everything with the canopy that they put out. But these beans should just be poking through the top, and they'll give a good little bit of nitrogen to the potatoes. You know, I will possibly just terminate these when the potatoes get bigger. I'll just cut the tops off. I may even cut them off at the bottom, you know, or I may let them grow. It's a sort of suck it and see thing at the minute with these. It's like I say, I've never grown potatoes with beans before, but these are going to get these beans are going to get the mycorrhizal fungi to work. So they'll be hopefully tapping into the mycorrhizal network in the soil now. They've been in about 5-6 days, something like that. They've had a couple of frosts on them. They've been fine. I haven't even needed to net them over. They were grown into my own seedling mixture, sown into that, and then potted into slightly bigger pots with my own compost in them. And I just think the healthier plants for that. 22nd of December, I sowed those seeds. And that's where we are now with them, guys. I'm looking at this leaf here. Something's been having a peck at them, so I may, if nothing else, may just put a fleece over them, protect them from the wildlife. It actually feels cold enough to freeze tonight, guys. All the forecast hasn't said it will do, but how often do you believe the forecast? Because I don't. So yeah, I might just lay a bit of fleece over these for tonight. Because I'd just be so annoyed if a load of partridge come through and wipe the tops of them out. Not much happening this time of year at the moment, is there, really? My jobs today have been to wash down the polytunnel with a mop to get all the algae off. It was covered in algae on the inside and the outside, so I've done that. I've also done all those seedlings, just finished off the hotbin. Just generally tidying up and getting ready for the season coming. It's always exciting, isn't it? But I'm certainly in no rush to sow anything at the moment. At home it's just going to be those chilies and the peppers. Everything else can wait now. I'll come back maybe towards the end of this month, when I'll probably start putting a few things in. Maybe some more brassicas, some more collies, cabbage, things like that. And as I've already said, this year I'm going to try, where I can, to not have sort of mono crops in the beds of onions, beds of this, beds of that. I'm going to just change things around, because things grow better with other varieties, with other plants. So beetroot will grow better and be healthier grown alongside beans, peas, celery, herbs, whatever you want. You know, I'm going to really mix these beds up this year. I'm really looking forward to this. The more species of plants you've got growing in a bed, or vegetables, or whatever you're growing, the bigger diversity of soil life you bring to the soil. So each plant, each vegetable puts out different exudates into the soil to attract different types of microbes. All these microbes interact with each other in the soil. You know, the soil is alive. Plants and the soil are one. That's the way you've got to look at it. And we don't need to be dumping tons and tons of compost on the soil. We just need living roots in the soil, feeding it carbon, feeding it sugars. The microbes in the soil and the fungi in the soil will now produce all the nutrients, and every single nutrient and micronutrient that these plants need. All we need now is some sunshine, some warmth, and the longer days, and this beautiful ecosystem will just look after itself. So I hope you join me this year, because guys, it's going to be really exciting. Where I've got a bed of carrots this year, I'll probably be growing carrots with beetroot and with onions and with celery and with parsley and with a whole bed of intermixed mixed vegetables growing together, all competing together in the same bed, all feeding the soil, all those microbes helping out absolutely everybody, you know. It's going to be good, guys. I hope you join me, and hopefully you might follow along, some of you, and just see how this system is going to benefit you and benefit your plants, and just provide really healthy, nutritious, you know, vitamin rich, mineral rich pack food that only, by the way, microbes and soil life can give your vegetables. That chemicals and no amount of compost can do that. It's the soil life that does that. Right, thanks for watching. Thanks to my patrons. I'll see you quite soon, guys. Bye for now.